All right, so Texas A&M has officially made the decision. They are hiring former Duke head coach Mike Elko for the same position. And I waited 24 hours for this to cement, for this to become official, because the last Texas A&M coaching hire, it never materialized. So I was a little hesitant to make this video, but I think it's been long enough that we can officially talk about it. There was a page, I think it was Deadspin. I saw they made an article yesterday, and it was a pretty cool play on words. They said Texas A&M stoops to a new low. You see what they did there? I thought it was pretty funny. It was a great pun, but in this video, I'm not about to knock on Texas A&M. I think Mike Elko was an absolute home run of a hire, and I'm gonna explain to you why here. Sometimes when an organization like Texas A&M, they have a lot of resources, they have a lot of money at their disposal. Sometimes they can make impulsive decisions when it comes to hiring head coaches, or in the case of professional organizations like the Yankees, the Dodgers have a lot of money. They can make impulsive decisions when signing players, reaching sometimes on hires, reaching on players, trying to get the big name that's marketable instead of the coach that's the best fit. I think that that's what Texas A&M did with Jimbo Fisher a couple years ago. They signed a big name head coach who's recognizable. A name like Jimbo Fisher has a lot of credibility in the college football world, and that's something that resonated deeply with Aggie fans. And then they inked him to a massive contract that shows commitment, familiarity, and commitment. Two things that are very attractive to fans. But as you saw, that didn't work out well. And it's obvious now that Texas A&M learned from that previous decision, because in Mike Elko, they hired a high ceiling head coach, somebody that has a lot of growth potential. And with the state that Texas A&M is in right now, they're a team that needs growth potential. They need a spark. They need edge. And I think that Mike Elko is the guy that's going to provide that. I made that baseball analogy with the Yankees and the Dodgers. They sign big name players to lucrative contracts, and a lot of times it doesn't pan out. They don't end up being as valuable as their contract is. Then you see teams like the Tampa Bay Rays go out and sign a bunch of young guys, or free agents that people may not have heard of but they know have a high ceiling. That's what I think Mike Elko is here, and I think that it's a fantastic fit for Texas A&M in their situation right now. Now, it's interesting too, because you want to talk about familiarity. Texas A&M is an organization that Mr. Mike Elko is quite familiar with, as he was the defensive coordinator for the Aggies at one time. He was actually part of Jimbo Fisher's staff. He is known for being a defensive-minded head coach, and I know that that is something that's concerning for Texas A&M fans, as their team over the past 2 years has been heavily reliant on defense, and the offense has been rather anemic at times. But Mike Elko proved that he likes to spread the wealth and place an emphasis on offense through hires that he made at Duke, such as bringing in Kevin Johns from Memphis as the offensive coordinator, and that worked out to be very successful. And watching Riley Leonard's development at Duke was fantastic as well. I'm going to get into that later in this video. I'm going to bring him back up again. But just because Mike Elko at one time was a defensive coordinator does not necessarily constitute that that's going to define his philosophy. Yes, Texas A&M will maintain their nastiness on defense, which you want to have a championship caliber defense. I'm sorry. Texas A&M fans, they're donors. They want a ring. They want a championship. That's why you sign those checks. That's why you donate to the foundation. Is to get that ring at the end of the day. That's why you support the program. And if you want a ring, guess what? I don't care if it's 1982 or 2023. You need a stingy defense if you want one of these. So Having a defensive-minded head coach is not a bad thing, but does not necessarily constitute that your offense will be underperforming. In fact, I think it'll improve drastically compared to what it was like under Jimbo Fisher when he was there. Texas A&M in the situation, they hired for fit and they hired for familiarity. Somebody they already know and somebody that's going to fit perfectly into the organization. And when you go back and dissect Texas A&M's history, this was a formula for success that they used in the late 80s when they promoted R.C. Slocum to as their head coach. Texas A&M experienced success in those following years, sustainable success. And that's what they want right now. That's what that fan base wants right now. That's what donors want right now. That's what alumni want right now, is sustainable success. 10-win seasons, 11-win seasons. The college football playoff is expanding to 12 teams. Being able to get into that playoff, teams get a bonus for getting into the playoff. That's huge. You have the affiliation with that symbol, with that brand. There's prestige behind the name college football playoff. And Texas A&M can finally throw its hat into the ring of the college football playoff if Mike Elko is able to transform them in the way that I believe he's going to be able to. Texas A&M is bringing in an experienced head coach. Mike Elko has a lot of feathers under his cap throughout his career. He's very well developed as a coach, but he's not seasoned and established enough to where he's going to be coming in with a litany of demands. Like if they brought in an Urban Meyer or a Dan Lanning or a Dan Campbell or Kirby Smart. Those guys are very comfortable where they are right now, and it would take a lot to lure them to Texas A&M. Yes, Texas A&M is one of the most attractive jobs in college football because of the resources that the program has. The recognizability, the money. Texas A&M has it all. It's very attractive. But you take somebody like Kirby Smart, who may win his third straight national championship. Take somebody like Dan Lanning, who may make the college football playoff this year. Dan Campbell, who has Super Bowl aspirations on his mind. It's going to take a lot to lure him, those guys, to that position. They would demand things. They'd probably want to be the highest paid coach in college football. They'd want this house in this location. They'd want 2 cars. They'd want all these different perks to lure them. That's how that business works. You're bringing in somebody like Mike Elko, of course, with the resources that Texas A&M has. You're going to pay him well, but he's somebody that's still hungry for success. He's somebody that's still growing. He's still ascending. He's still on his path to getting to where he wants to be. He's had success, but he wants more success. He hasn't reached the pinnacle yet. And neither has Texas A&M. Texas A&M is craving that national championship here in this modern age, and they haven't gotten it. They've had so many teams that are capable, but they haven't gotten it. So them and Mike Elko, they are just the perfect match and the perfect fit for each other because they can grow together. That's what you look for in a hire is, can the organization and the individual grow together? And I think you're going to really see that ensue here. Nonetheless, Mike Elko has a great track record. He led Duke to a 9-4 record back in 2022 last year, and the 7-3 this year with those quarterback struggles that they had. And after Riley Leonard went down, it was just quarterback chaos for Duke. But Mike Elko still managed to guide that team to 7-5 in bowl eligibility. And I'm sure that's a tough conversation that he had with Duke players on Sunday afternoon, notifying them that he's leaving. It's never a conversation that you want to have as a head coach. You dread that. But at the end of the day, this is a massive opportunity for Mike Elko to go back to an organization where he once was, and where he's comfortable, and where he has familiarity, and he's going to capitalize on it. One last thing that I want to end this video on. This is an interesting thought that I had while I was reflecting on this yesterday. Could Mike Elko possibly lure Riley Leonard to Texas A&M? And if he does, what impact would that have on Texas A&M? What impact would that have on SEC competition, and what impact would that have on Riley Leonard? I'm just pitching it out there. I think it'd be a fantastic fit. Having somebody with the experience that Riley Leonard has to work with the receivers in the offensive unit at Texas A&M, I think that would be remarkable fits, and I think somewhere like Texas A&M, like I made that Sam Hartman video months ago, I think this is the same situation. You have somebody that has a lot of potential, a lot of talent, like Riley Leonard, and great leadership. giving him the platform of Texas A&M to display those things would be remarkable. And I'm confident Riley Leonard would be the best quarterback to come through Texas A&M since Johnny Manziel. And watching him, I know that this could be a statement with a lot of magnitudes. I think he could exceed what Johnny Manziel did at Texas A&M. Riley Leonard's a great quarterback. Him and Mike Elko have a great relationship, and I think that Mike Elko could have the pull to bring him to Texas A&M. So I want to see how that unfolds in the future. That may happen, that may not. That's just something that I'm pitching out there, and let's see what happens. But nonetheless, a home run of a hire for Texas A&M. They did their research. They didn't reach. They were impulsive, and they hired somebody for fit and somebody that has a high ceiling, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds for the Aggies. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you and the time that you took out of your day to watch the video, and if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video and share it, as well as subscribe to The Era. The more likes and subscribers I get on this channel, the more resources I can attain, and the more resources I can attain, the more value I can provide to you, the viewer. And that is how I show my appreciation for you for the time that you devote to watching my videos. So thank you so much, and have a great day.